time to get geeked up.
But of course, we're not just here to sit around and eat candy corn with you guys and watch Halloween movies and shows. We're
Unless
here
you want to, you know, because if you
want
want to, I'm down.
Yeah, I mean, send us some candy corn, of course. And we'll send you a signed picture of the Geeked Up boys in our Halloween costumes of jelly and mustard. But of course,
I
we're
told
here.
you, ketchup and mustard.
Peanut butter and jelly. But of course, we're here to play a very spooky game with you guys. Now, this one, to me, is like, got me a little spooked out. Like, I'm digging through the game closet. It's that time of year. It's creepy out in there. The light's gone out. I'm digging in the back of the closet, and this one's reminding me of a Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, where I'm pulling out the game, like, oh, when did we get this game?
Don't play that game.
What's it called? It's called Horror Movie Heroes. Woo!
Yeah,
that's right, guys. If you haven't guessed it, we're playing Horror Movie Heroes again.
Yeah, just like episode 9, we're doing, so I guess it's going to be our second annual Horror Movie Heroes.
And I guess like any good horror movie, it needs a sequel.
Yeah, exactly. What's a good... It's not a horror movie unless they do 15 of them.
And the sequel's good sometimes. You get reoccurring characters, you know. Like
Yeah.
everybody
Sometimes they
hasn't
kind of
signed
just
off
totally
yet, the
lose
second
the
one.
integrity of the franchise and
Yes.
turn into an all-out joke of it itself, which is kind of the direction I'm hoping to go here tonight with the Horror Movie Hero. If you don't remember from last time, and make sure to check it out. I think Devin's been referencing it as episode 9, all the way dating back to episode 9.
Oh, yeah.
In the Geeked Up Game Closet, Horror Movie Hero. So check that one out, as well as all of our past games on the cloud and the book and all that stuff.
But specifically this time, episode 9 game time.
Yeah.
Horror Movie Heroes. And I guess like if we give a little background of it, like the last one we did, and we're going to keep kind of the same game because...
Yeah, we're doing exactly the same thing with just 5 different characters.
It's me and Liam sit on a board with a bunch of different letters on it, and we ask ghosts if they can hear us, and then we both try to trick each other. We've named it Ouija, but no, it's one of our old classic Geeked Up games, and it's the Horror Movie Heroes. What we do here is, I guess what we should reference is that, like in every horror movie, the killer, the bad guy, is the more famous one. It seems like every different movie, the horror movie, like, villain always just kills a different person, and then someone gets lucky. And since this is the Geeked Up podcast and the Geeked Up Game Time, where we are obsessed with, like, movie heroes, you probably can't hear an episode of us talking about some kind of caped fool. We think
Yeah,
that
we
these,
love Cape Fools on
We
this.
do. We do.
On this here podcast.
pimps, heroes.
Yeah, right.
You know. I guess that's it. I guess that really narrows it down to the Cape world.
Yeah.
Just heroes and pimps.
Heroes and pimps, but
Heroes and
fans of
pimps
both
and
for sure.
children. But so what we're saying is that like these ultimate villains need a hero.
Yeah, and
Not
sometimes
just some
they're
dumb teenager.
running amok in their movie, but it's because they're really not going up against any competition. You know what I mean? Like they're not fighting superheroes; they're fighting. They're like, you know what I mean? It's easy to get a couple of kills under your belt when you're just sneak attacking a bunch of teenagers while they're trying to get a hand job by the lake.
Yeah,
You know, all of a sudden, Freddy Krueger, pick on somebody your own size. You know?
And really, I'm sure we talked about this before too, but like horror movies suck. It's just like, oh, do you ever like to have fun? Death. Just death. Oh, weed, death. Hand job, death. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, what are you supposed to do at a goddamn summer camp?
Not smoke weed or get a hand job. You know?
Yeah. What, just paddling in a paddle boat? Jesus Christ.
So we're going to take some of the classic horror movie characters and assign them a hero to
do battle against. You know, just fight against. A hero to finally stand up to one of these creepy villains. And of course, just like last time, we're going to be playing by the same rules. There's 2 our games.
And we're going to follow, like I said, following the same rules as last time.
Same rules as last time, but in case you don't remember the rules, it's pretty simple. So we're going to pick the, of course, the hero they're going to fight against, but what actor would be playing the hero?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We got to figure out which...
Because we're going Hollywood, baby. Like, we don't want us a story.
We got to figure out exactly who Harvey Weinstein is going to make a backroom deal with to play said...
Yeah, and by the way, he is one of our characters in the Cauldron. But so what's the actor's going to be the hero? What's their hero name going to be? What's a hero without an epic name?
Yeah, what's his name and what's his story?
And then 3, like, how's he gonna take down this big villain? You know, you can set it up. You got to knock him down. You know what I mean? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, what's his name? What's his story? Who's going to play him? And, of course, we always have the Geeked Up Stephen Root X Factor, where Stephen Root needs to be one of our 5 characters.
Has to be played
by Stephen Root.
That's right. I almost forgot about that. It's a very good point.
So we took a bunch of classic characters, and we threw them all into the Geeked Up Witch's hat. We threw them into the plastic pumpkin thing that I go trick-or-treating with still.
We ran out of dry ice from the last time, so all we have now is exactly one of those plastic, like, pumpkin things you got from McDonald's.
As I tell everybody in the neighborhood, my kids got scared and are standing over. As I try to show up with strange kids and appear to be their supervisor, so I can get some candy too.
So I guess we should tell you. So we threw a bunch of names in the pumpkin. And, some old classic ones, some new ones, some off-kiltered ones. And I guess we should name off the 5 that we picked out. So the 5 Monster Mayhem horror movie villains we picked out was, of course, you can't have a Halloween movie like we talked about before without Jigsaw.
All right, one of the more recent iconic horror movie villains, Jigsaw.
Jigsaw
of course,
from the Saw movies.
15 Saw movies. Another one on the way.
Oh, yeah, that's right. After many years of no Halloween
Yeah,
movies
exactly.
like
It was finally, we thought they were done with this franchise, but no.
Another one we pulled out. Now, here's another real classic one. We pulled out Pinhead. From the Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, of course, yes. And this was one that you had your eye on last year, I believe.
I did.
But we didn't. You weren't lucky enough to draw Pinhead. This year, you got him.
I got Pinhead. There's no reason alone than Pinhead, but we continue. We got here's a good one. We got the birds from the movie Birds. Now,
those birds. Okay.
Yeah. Not just your any old birds, just these angry fucking birds that.
The ones that were just killing all of the people in the Hitchcock classic there.
No rhyme, no reason.
The 9-hour Hitchcock classic thing.
Of course, we have the classic Mummy.
Okay, yes.
The Mummy, as like your parents were too poor to get you a Halloween costume, so they wrapped you up in the semi-used toilet paper for Halloween. You're a mummy. Now go feed us for the week. And of course, not so much a Halloween character, but we pulled out Leprechaun.
Well, he's definitely an iconic horror movie character.
Not
for sure.
the St. Patrick's Day Leprechaun. We got the Halloween.
Is it not? I think actually St. Pat. That's actually interesting because the Leprechaun is actually a movie that gets played on St. Patrick's Day, not Halloween. It's actually when I think TBS or FX runs it on the marathon on St. Patrick's Day. They run the Leprechaun.
So
it is
AMC,
almost more of
like
a St. Patrick's Day.
AMC has
movie
has their patented thing. So we got those characters now. Just one more time to run through them for you, like we always do. We have Jigsaw from Saw. We have Leprechaun from Leprechaun. We have the Birds from Birds. We have Pinhead from Hellraiser, and we have the Mummy.
We have the Mummy from any given Mummy franchise reincarnation.
You know the deal. They're wrapped in tinfoil or paper towels.
Some Egyptian pharaoh, buried him 18,000 years ago, and now he's coming back to life.
And since we're talking about this asshole, I guess he'll be the first one, the Mummy.
We'll kick it off with the Mummy.
So we're going to do the classic Geeked Up coin flip, except this time we're doing it with a piece of candy corn. So we're going to flip the candy corn. Liam, call it. I think we got a tails never fail. The coin has been flipped. We're calling it. It's heads down. It's the bottom
piece
of candy corn.
Tails.
Liam gets the call, the Halloween horror movie hero bowl. We're starting with the Mummy. Who's going first, Lee? Are you?
I'll kick it off to you. I'll let you reveal your Mummy horror movie hero.
All right. So I'm starting with the Mummy, the classic Mummy. Now, as a kid, thinking about Halloween and whatnot, when I hear like Mummy, as a kid, what would you do? You would make a classic mommy joke. What did the Mummy say to the kid? So thinking of that, my hero is called Bad Dad Guy. All right.
He's the bad dad guy.
He's a bad dad guy. And he's going to be played by Robert De Niro. All right? But he's going to be more or less playing the same exact character.
I see.
Sure, but not so much that character, but you remember the movie This Boy's Life with Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, I don't.
Where Robert De Niro was just the crazy, like, very charming at first and got the mom to fall in love with him, and then the rest of the movie just beat the shit out of him. So he's bad dad guy. And what does bad dad guy do better than anything? He beats the shit out of mommy. So she doesn't stand a chance. Mommy keeps trying to get out of there, but all we know is mummies are slow to go and probably appreciate what they have. And De Niro, of course, is bad dad guy. And he's just, again,
so he's kind of like a...
he's an abusive husband.
I was going to say. He's kind of an anti-hero in some regard. He's kind of like the Punisher almost.
Look,
where he's conquering the mummy, but he's doing it by being an abusive, possibly drunken father.
For sure, but sometimes as the hero, you have to cross the line. Like you said, like the Punisher,
it's a no-hold-barred style of justice handed down by the...
Especially when your name's bad guy. It's not good. It's not looking good for mommy. And again, since it's Halloween, I'm going back to classic Halloween mummy jokes. You know what I mean?
All right, well, I guess I'll pick up from there.
Thank God.
I wouldn't... I'm going to have to go... I'm going to have to be a little bit more sophisticated than to go with a mummy-daddy kind of joke. Wink, wink, wink. But mine is going to be, you think about who the mummy is like we were talking about before, some, Egyptian, some evil Egyptian guy, all these years ago, gets buried, frozen in time, dug up. Now he's unleashed on modern-day Earth, causing havoc, and we need somebody to stop him. So who are we going to need? We're going to need an archaeologist, but we're going to need, like, a time-traveling, badass archaeologist, right? So we're going to need somebody maybe called, like, the Deadly Archaeologist Dueling Yesterday.
Okay.
Or Daddy, as you... Or is his D-A-D-Y acronym?
No,
Daddy.
You got to say it again. What does Daddy stand for again?
So it's Deadly Archaeologist Dueling Yesterday. All right? Yeah, which is the closest Y I could come up with, because he's going to the past
he's a time
to
traveler.
duel, exactly, creatures of yesterday. But he's also a deadly archaeologist. All right?
Sure.
He's going to be played by Brendan Fraser, because I feel like he really nailed it in his first role, battling the mummy. In one of the
plus
five...
he needs the work.
Yeah, plus we can get him for cheap, exactly.
Yeah.
So, other than that, it really turns into a show. I think this is going to be one of those Geeked Up productions where me and you mold our stories, because other than that, it's pretty much where bad dad guy left you off.
Dads.
He comes home, everybody's all scared the mummy's going to dominate, then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ, Dad's getting home from work. He sends me to mow the lawn. He starts drinking whiskey and slapping around the mummy. You know what I'm saying?
I like that's both where we go here. All right.
What, with abusive parents jokes,
Yeah.
or the mummy daddy 8-year-old
Happy
popsicles?
Halloween! Forget the last four characters. We're done here.
So we both go the same route. It's going to be a mummy versus a daddy.
The classic Brendan Fraser versus Robert De Niro. I think we all know who won that one in Hollywood. Obviously, Brendan Fraser. So the second character we have next up on the list is the leprechaun. The little leprechaun.
Ah, the wee leprechaun.
But not the not the cute Lucky Charms one. The little mean one.
The little mean Lucky Charms one.
The monkey Charms one. So Liam, I guess I went first last time. I'll let you.
All right, so I'll go first this time. The Leprechaun is, like we said before, one of the iconic kind of horror movie franchises in the sense where it really turned crazy and corny and campy, as they often do. And they made there was a leprechaun in the hood, a leprechaun in space, all right? It crosses all sorts of different genres.
Sure.
Right? So kind of maybe sticking with that theme. And then also, like you mentioned, though, there's a lot of beef going on, where you got the Lucky Charms leprechaun, you got St. Patrick, you got all these other Irishmen. So you're going to have a hero to face this guy is going to have to be another Irishman, you know what I mean? One to step up to the evil Irish leprechaun. You're going to need you're going to need somebody tougher than the Lucky Charms leprechaun or old St. Patrick himself, right? So I'm going to go with, in order to defeat this leprechaun, you're going to need Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it was going. Fuck the leprechaun.
Yes, that Conor McGregor. So he's going to be.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
He's going for the pot of gold always.
Exactly.
Connor's looking for that payday.
Exactly. Connor's always down. And that's where kind of the cheesy, campy leprechaun genre crossing goes, because this is going to be kind of more of like a Rocky leprechaun, you know? It's going to be,
okay.
But it's going to be on like beat back. Thinks like, you know, Brad Pitt in Snatch, that like bare knuckle bar.
Sure.
The leprechaun's killing all of this guy, all of the bare knuckle tinkers.
Not Connor is the Brad Pitt character. The leprechaun is the bare knuckle, bare chested.
Yes, and he's killing all the other tinkers, the bare knuckle tinkers. So Conor McGregor, and now that's where we get who's going to be playing Conor McGregor. You're thinking, you know,
Conor
Leo
McGregor.
DiCaprio. You're thinking maybe Conor McGregor. No, I think this is going to be a good one for Stephen Root, who I really feel would pull off a great Conor McGregor in his tough guy debut. So you're going to have Stephen Root playing Conor McGregor in the Leprechaun Rocky spin-off, where the Leprechaun is like beating all the Irish tinkers so bad that he's beating them all to death.
Hey,
And
Conor McGregor.
is
What I'm
this-
going to do here? I show up when I show up.
and then it's going to show like a classic Rocky montage of Conor McGregor like running with sheep, you know,
But being
herding
played by
sheep.
Stephen Root.
Yeah, but being played by Stephen Root. Stephen Root as Conor McGregor running with sheep in the hills of Ireland, getting ready for his big match against the Leprechaun.
Conor McGregor, or Stephen Root's aged now too. Like he's playing like just Conor McGregor.
He's going to have that mohawk. He's going to have come in the same jacket he wore for the Mayweather press conference first.
Oh man, I wasn't on board first, but now that I'm picturing it, dude,
Yeah, you got to think. Close your eyes and think of Stephen Root.
All right, now I gotta. It's a hard one to challenge. I gotta get back on board here because we do have some similarities in ours. Mine kind of similarity is that like you're right. Like how do you? It's Leprechaun. He's like a reoccurring thing, and just like horror movies or just movies in general, it's nice to see like a crossover hero or like oh he was from that other movie, much like Split, that M. Night Shyamalan movie where. Bruce Willis shows up at the end.
Yeah.
Turns out it was like a sequel to Unbreakable. So much like this one. So I still have like the Leprechaun, right? The classic Leprechaun, the one that was given Ice-T shit.
I'm not saying I'm making a different movie than the Leprechaun.
No. It's still the Leprechaun. But this time, who is he going against? And that's right. You've seen him before. You've seen him in episode 9. Ladies and gentlemen, it's fucking Common Sense guys showing back up. Once again, being played by Stephen Root. Now, if you remember from my episode 9 Stephen Root character, Common Sense Mind, he used to own a doll store. That's where he got Chucky. This time, he
his basically, if you don't remember, his superpower was he would just use common sense to be able to defeat any other horror movie villain by just going, what do you think? It's a little doll. I'm obviously not going
to sell it in my doll store.
Break it in half and throw it in the recycling bin, and it's the end of the problem.
So since then, it's like in the middle. You don't even realize it's a Common Sense Man movie. You don't realize it's a Leprechaun movie. I guess you realize it's a Common Sense Man movie because, like, he sells the doll shop. Now he buys an antique shop. He happens to find a pot of gold. The Leprechaun shows up, tries to get it back, and Stephen Root playing Common Sense
How much
Man.
was he selling this pot of gold for?
Stephen Root, he was at the back. You're like, oh, it's like a nice pot. It hasn't been opened yet. It's like a chest.
I see. He didn't know it was gold in there.
Yeah, he didn't know it was gold in there. I mean, he wasn't using that much common sense. But the Leprechaun shows up, and just like last time when he fought Chucky, he either like steps on it, or kicks it, or gives it a shot of whiskey, or uses fucking common sense if you're battling a leprechaun. It's like a 2
But it's
foot
an
8.
evil leprechaun.
Yeah, he's still a very tiny piece of shit. Just like Chucky was a very evil doll. It's still just a doll. I feel like if you
So give him a
apply
bad dad guy, backhand to the face,
common
and
sense-
problem over.
And it's also crazy, much like Split and Unbreakable. It's like, oh, it's fucking Common Sense guy from the fucking Chucky movie. Now he's fighting the leprechaun. He's doing it again.
But now I get it.
And yeah, that's my film. Still starring Stephen Root.
And now this is part of the great sequel genre. This is part of the great
Exactly.
horror movie hero sequels. Now he's got his own franchise.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. There can be all sorts of common sense guy movies.
Yeah. Now, I guess the next one we'll do here is this is a tricky one. We're gonna do the birds from Birds. And now I guess I'll go first, lead to the last one. I guess this time, I guess it's a little more similar. Now, this time I was thinking about who would fight the birds. It would probably be like a famous hunter. I was going to think Teddy Roosevelt, even though he's never been in a movie. I think he'd played a great hunter. But I started thinking about it. Like, wasn't that the whole plot of the birds? Is there's too many birds to fucking, like, just hunt them all. That's what I was thinking. But so then I really started thinking about it. We've done this before. So my character fighting the birds is going to be called Birdman. And guess who the actor is? You guessed it. It's fucking Michael Keaton. Reprising his role once again as Birdman. I feel like he just blends right in.
Yeah, I feel like he's been looking for a villain to actually finally help his career, give him something to do. You know what I mean?
Like even this time, like the plot is like, you can just like talk it out with the birds. You know what I mean? Just be like, you know, the end of Birdman ended with him jumping out the window. Did he survive? Yeah, he did. And really embraced his Birdman role and flew away and like talked to the birds as they started attacking.
He's like, guys, look, I really need a notch under my belt. I really need to conquer a crime here at some point. Like,
see, that's what the subtitles would say. Like, if they made the movie like real, like the director tends to do, it'd be like. So it'd be like a black and white, more of like an indie, boring one. And at the end, like I don't know, something violent.
More boring than The Birds by Hitchcock. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, right. But this time it was like
I'm not watching it. It sounds good, but
and it's like kind of crazy. It's like one of those like inside the mind of a killer things.
It's a psychological.
Like, Birdman just like talks to the birds and asks them like why they do it. It's like you ever grown up in an egg? It's fucking intense in there. But again, it's still like an artsy, weird Halloween dark movie. So all the dialogue is just like. I guess that's a better bird noise. I guess more was a dolphin.
All right. I guess, well, I mean, I'll go, I'll do mine. Mine's, I guess, going to be a little bit similar in essence, where you're going to have a guy that's got a good bird call to communicate with the birds. You know what I mean? Mine is also a bird man, I suppose.
Michael Keaton?
I didn't go with Michael Keaton. I didn't go with a fictional bird man. I went with a real bird man. And a real bird man that's also got a bird call. He's the bird man, daddy. He flies in any weather. Of course, I'm talking about the dirty South Zone, the Birdman from whatever hilarious rap, the Cash Money Millionaires,
Cash Money Millionaires.
or whoever. So this is going to be kind
Listen to that boy. Listen to
the
that
bird
boy.
call, daddy. So it's going to be, but this one, though, it's going to be kind of like, it's going to be, because the problem with the birds in the movie was they had strength in numbers, you know, so that's where the Cash Money Millionaires come in. It's going to be the Birdman and his buddies, his gang, the Lil Wayne and the rest of the boys that have all fizzled out ever since 1998, but, so they're all going to be, and it's going to be kind of, think like ultimate slasher, Kill Bill style action shit going on, where it's just going to be a Birdman, but it's going to be the Birdman in a world where he has superpowers and can fly and fight, and it's just going to be him in an all-on war with thousands of birds. Think like a John Woo style action film with just non-stop
where the birds tend to fly, and the doves tend to fly in the background anyway. In John Woo films.
There's just going to be all sorts of action and bloody bird death as the Birdman is just like literally like remember in Rambo 4 where there was just like literally 800 people got fucking blown up. It's going to be like that with bird form, where all sorts of high impact Birdman flying around using weapons and.
Is the Cash Money Millionaires are like fighting?
No, they can't fly. They're just going to be they're going to be rapping along down in the bottom. But that's.
So Birdman can fly.
Birdman
he can
fly
fight the birds. And the rest of the 12
the rest of them are just
are
watching.
Downstairs like, oh, what happened to that boy? On the ground, getting
hot boys
brutally attacked by birds. Help us, Birdman. All right. That's pretty good. So I guess the... I don't even know who goes against that one. The Michael Keaton Birdman or Birdman? From,
the Birdman.
The Birdman LP. So I guess
or the
next
one-hit wonder Birdman.
Now this is a good one we have. This is like a repeat villain. He's been in all the Saw movies. We got Jigsaw.
Yes.
I can't even connect this puzzle piece. Do you want to go first? Should I do this one?
I'll kick this one off first.
All right.
Mine, I guess I'm going to do kind of like you, where we're doing a little bit of a, kind of like your last one, I guess, where we're doing a little bit of a crossover. But I think Jigsaw, I feel that a perfect hero. I don't know if this is cheating here a little bit, but I always felt the perfect hero to line up against Jigsaw would be Batman. Kind of because Jigsaw is just like the only person that can actually, I think, end this fucking take over the franchise from this asshole so he stops making movies is Batman.
Yeah.
First of all. But then I just felt that one of the things about Jigsaw was that he was like, he's a non-super fictional kind of character. He's like the anti-Batman. He's like the evil Batman. He just has all these clever,
it's like the Joker.
Tools and crazy contraptions used to spew his evil without any real, like, super,
Yeah, and it seems like a very Batman thing to figure out. Be like, oh, the Jigsaw again.
Yes, exactly. He seems like a very Batman kind of villain.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I'm gonna have Batman face him, and of course,
And
I'm gonna
much like the Saw movies, there's always like a different Saw villain, and then there's always a new Batman. Which Batman is going to be fighting which Jigsaw? Is it going to be Adam West fighting the original one? Will it be Christian Bale?
It's obviously going to be George Clooney, the best Batman of all. It's going to be nipple suit Clooney.
There's a lot of Batman. There's a lot
Getting
of
tortured by the Jigsaw.
I get what you're doing there. I like that. Mine was a little different. This one, my guys is called because kind of like I said, like when you were saying too, Jigsaw. He likes his tricky puzzles, and like you ever done like a big Jigsaw puzzle? What's more annoying than losing like one of the tiny fucking pieces in it, and you can't finish the Jigsaw puzzle?
Yeah.
So
that happened to me That's why I never
every
did
time I do
puzzles.
Jigsaw
because-
puzzles. You know what I mean? But so my hero is called the Missing Piece.
Oh.
And since he's like a tiny piece of the puzzle, he's being played by Peter Dinklage.
He's the one little missing part of the
one
whole
little piece of the puzzle.
grand.
So you can never figure it out. And not only does it work in like the slogan of it, but also like none of the traps fit him. So like you can always just wiggle out of them and not have to figure out the mystery.
His little hands don't fit in the cuffs.
His hands are normal size. His head is huge. But he can always just get out of the pieces. And it's like, oh, how does Jigsaw finish his diabolical puzzle? Not without the missing piece. And, it's pretty much just a midget joke. So The Missing Piece by Peter Dinklage. Or Batman. Which is also a very equal Jigsaw villain. And I guess that'll bring us to our last horror movie villain. That'd be Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Yes, one of the another one of the iconic heavy hitter, horror movie characters.
Yeah.
A demon would go through all dimensions of space and reality to take the souls of humans.
But more importantly, can this be remembered by having pins coming out of his head?
Yeah.
And they call him Pinhead. Like, the most, like, come on, Pinhead, are you really going to kill me? So I guess I'll kick that one off in that kind of light. And I'm going to do another kind of, not so much as a horror movie genre, like not doing the Stephen Root, because, that was a horror movie guy's been coming back. This one's even more of a crossover. So this hero is called, you've seen him before. You've seen him before in a Geeked Up Game Time. Now, he had a pointless superpower, but who is Pinhead's villain? None other than Balloon Boy, played by Owen Wilson. Now, not so much does he defeat Pinhead, as he just drives him nuts. Because Balloon Boy just floats around him
away.
with a handful of balloons in him, too, and just keeps popping them on his pins. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, cut it out. I can't, man. I'm Balloon Boy. He's just, I can interdimensional travel, and then he reappears, and it's just more
Pinhead.
balloons.
You'd think Pinhead would have an easy win against Balloon Boy, but no, he keeps on.
Just the pure annoyance factor of just like Owen Wilson and all his balloons, man. He's just floating around like Balloon Boy. You can't catch me. I'm floating this way now, dude. It's just the calm of the wind. Pinhead wouldn't stand a chance against Balloon Boy.
Yeah,
And again, it's another Geeked Up Game Time classic. Balloon Boy comes floating in out of nowhere. He wasn't even supposed to be in this game. He couldn't control it. He just came floating
Pinhead's
in.
about to kill two people. Balloon Boy comes, floats in.
Whoa, is it Halloween? That's cool. I thought I was president.
Pinhead just
I
gets
thought it was
distracted
President's
as the
Day.
guys run away.
Exactly. You get it. I'm a pin. I have to pop that thing. And I'm running off a cliff.
Well, ironically enough, me and you have been on the same page because I've got kind of a similar. My character is also, ironically enough, played by Owen Wilson. Yeah, no, I swear. But mine's going to be a little bit kind of, and he's also kind of has the same attitude that like
Balloon Boy would.
Yeah. And but his whole gimmick, right, is he's going to be called the acupuncturist. All right? And he's going to show up. He's going to have a very similar attitude. He's going to have the classic Owen Wilson kind of laid back, and he's just going to show up like with pins all in his face. Like, hey, look, guys, like he's not so intimidating. He's just getting some holistic face treatment, you know? And the Hellraiser's in there like, no, I'm a creepy demon. That's why the pins are like, no, he's just
That's
trying
your journey,
to,
man.
He's just trying to do an anti-aging technique that they've been doing in China for it.
And being a demon is your journey. I'm also a cool surfer.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like that laid-back Owen Wilson attitude would be a great stark contrast to like the because in terms of like talking shit, Pinhead was one of the best talking villains.
Yeah,
the rest
right
of
behind Krueger comes Pinhead, right?
yeah. And
We could have even played it deeper. If we're both doing Owen Wilson on this one. Like, couldn't we just made the reference that he tried to kill himself before and he's already seen hell and he's not going back? That was a balloon and an acupuncturist. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, like with the villain.
So he's gonna show the positive sides of having a bunch of pins in your face, and all of a sudden it's gonna take a lot of the shock value away from Pinhead. And then all of a sudden you're gonna go, hey, he's just some fucking.
He's just some asshole.
Yeah.
He's just a Wilson. I like it. Not as much as I like Balloon Boy. You know, he showed up before. He's floated by again, floating into a theater.
Floating into a theater near you.
So I guess those are our horror movie heroes battling these classic horror movie villains.
Ooh, baby, it's time to get geeked up.